The Tour of Britain gets underway. Stellar performance here then by Bradley Wiggins. Simon Yates coming up to the line. What a ride! Oh! What a tight finish that was.
Croeso I Gaerdydd. Welcome to Cardiff. We've made it to the end, my friends. The final stage of the OVO Energy Tour of Britain coming up. Full highlights of today's marauding peloton across the border, and there is still all to ride for after yesterday's electrifying race through the Cotswolds.
108 riders started in Hemel Hempstead, 12 down on the number that rolled out of Edinburgh last weekend. Once the racing started, immediately the big names on GC tried to take time off leader Lars Bohm. Kwiatkowski, Dowsett and former winner Van Baarle all had a go, but eventually two groups got away and then merged to be a six-man break. Among them was An Post Chain Reaction's Jacob Scott once more, tightening his grip on the Skoda King of the Mountains competition by getting maximum points over the first two climbs. 36 kilometres out from the finish and they were caught. Ominously, world TT champion Tony Martin immediately attacked. He'd stay out there for quite a while on his own, but once Martin was caught, the peloton was all back together. In the Iceberg Sprints competition, Wanty Group Gobert's Mark McNally was on the hunt for points, and he got them, taking the jersey as well. Then onto the day's last climb of Cleve Hill, and GC contender Edvald Bosenhagen got away with four others. Two of them would crash on a tricky corner, but the man they call Eddie Boss pressed on, only to be caught 1,500 metres from the end.
Groenewegen, Christoph is there, Ewan trying to get there as well, but Dylan Groenewegen through to the front, but Caleb Ewan, a late challenge, the throw to the line, but Dylan Groenewegen punches the air with delight, as does Lars Bohm behind. So what a sprint from Dylan Groenewegen for his Lotto NL Jumbo team, taking the win in Cheltenham from Caleb Ewan and JLT Condor's Brenton Jones. Lars Bohm stays at the top of the general classification, with Stefan Kung moving up to second after collecting bonus time at the final sprint of the day.
Joined now once more by proud Welshman here in Cardiff, Janto Barker. So I guess that makes me Gavin to his Stacey. Janto, a lot of hard work done by Lotto NL Jumbo yesterday to keep Lars Boom in the leader's jersey and to get the win for Dylan Groenewegen, but a couple of other ominous signs that GC could change once more in the form of Stefan Kung and Michał Kwiatkowski.
Yeah, we saw Stefan Kung very motivated and took an intermediate sprint, which moved him up onto the podium. Kwiatkowski we saw attacking on the climb and looks very good, actually. Looks in very, very strong form, so maybe they'll be riding for him today.
Yeah, especially as Kirienka was up there on GC. G is there in the top 10 as well, but Kwiatkowski has the legs.
He does. He's shown that on the climb. He was very aggressive and looked like he was teeing it up maybe for someone else, but I don't think anyone else could come around him. You know, he's going very well. He's a really punchy rider that obviously likes that kind of terrain.
Let's hear from the riders now. Rob Hales has been catching up with them at the start in Worcester.
A lot of things can happen, but the shape is good, and I think we're really sharp and focused on today's race, so we can start already.
I think today's a good one for Elliot, so we'll fully back him, fully commit to him, and hopefully we can finish the week off well.
Got the final one here today, hopefully for a few fireworks on the final stage into Cardiff, and I'm looking forward to finishing off for the team.
It's strange racing on the roads I raced on as a junior, and it's just always great to come back to this race, you know. Even though I don't have the best fitness this week and I haven't had the best opportunities to do well, it's just still great to race in the UK.
Of course, we're focusing on the general classification coming into the final stage, but let's have a look at some of the other jerseys now. Alexander Kristoff, the most consistent rider in the Wheel Points jersey, although he's been a bit upset not to take a stage win at this year's Tour, especially when Caleb Ewan is in such imperious form. But Janto, An Post Chain Reaction's Jacob Scott holding on to the Skoda King of the Mountains jersey, and Mark McNally sneaking there into the Iceberg Sprints jersey as well yesterday.
Yeah, Mark McNally had to take points amongst the GC contenders going for time seconds, so that would have been actually more difficult than usual sprint. So excellent job by him, and obviously Jacob Scott is still in the Mountains jersey. Great job all week by him.
Done very well, the proud Yorkshireman. Plenty of proud Welshmen coming into Cardiff today as well. We've got Owain Doull, Welsh speaker, as well. Rob Partridge riding his final and 11th Tour of Britain coming into the Welsh capital today before he retires. And of course, who else? Geraint Thomas.
Another huge race this year, of course, is in Bergen in Norway, the World Championships in a couple of weeks' time. Any aspirations there to do something?
Well, after the week here, I've certainly realised I'm not quite in good enough shape to do that. I could go there and do a job, but at the same time, it's like, you know, maybe a younger guy who could do a similar job might be better them going in my place. But yeah, for sure, if GB wanted me to ride, I'd go and do the best I could for whoever the leader is. But certainly, you just know deep down that I'm just nowhere near in top shape, really. So yeah, there wouldn't be any personal aspirations, really.
Looking back towards Cardiff, do you dare to think what it would be like to win the Tour of Britain as it finishes in your hometown?
Oh, it would be amazing. It'd be incredible, but it's going to be a tall ask.
Such an inspiration is Geraint Thomas, and it's great to see plenty of people being inspired by this year's Tour of Britain. Bob Howden from British Cycling joins me now, and it makes, Bob, simply a real difference, doesn't it?
The Go Ride scheme generally makes such a difference because we get youngsters into the sport. We get them able to ride with the skills that we can see here on the finishing straight. It's also aspirational. It brings the Go Ride youngsters into the same arena as elite athletes, so that's a tremendous inspiration for them.
Plenty of talent has come through there as well. Just tell us how it works and how it's fed into the British racing scene.
It's a funded programme, and we develop then through a range of clubs which are Go Ride affiliated clubs. So we kit them out. It's very much driven then, our youth coaching and talent ID is geared towards that. So we find that then we can fast track those riders up through the system onto our talent programme and then our Olympic podium programme. So it's really a bottom to top direct route for the kids. And it works amazingly well.
Bob, many thanks indeed. We know it works amazingly well. Just one local club that has created an awful lot of talent that we're seeing racing on our roads and foreign ones as well in Cardiff is Mainly Flyers.
I've been involved in cycling for 11 years now.
I just like spending time on the track with friends and stuff.
Well, the club's been very successful. We had Geraint Thomas join us virtually in the first year of the foundation of the club.
When I was in Mainly Flyers, you know, it was obviously, I did it because I enjoyed racing and riding my bike.
When one of my mates did the first session with him, he stopped and he was like, "No, I'm not going back for that second one, didn't quite enjoy it." And I was kind of like 50-50 whether to go back, and fortunately for me I did and spent a couple of years there.
This is where the top riders of tomorrow are going to come from.
It's just a really nice place, like really nice atmosphere, a really safe place as well to start learning to ride your bike.
Even at junior level, you know, you just got to enjoy it.
It really is great to see the influence that racing can have on the next generation. And actually, Janto, Geraint Thomas is a prime example of that himself. He was racing as a kid around here in the city not that long ago, and now look at him. He's been in the yellow jersey at the Tour de France this year.
There are pictures of Geraint riding around as an 8, 9, 10-year-old. He's come through the system, he's been dedicated all his life, and he has reached the highest level, so it's great to see that if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Real hotbed of cycling, actually, in Cardiff and the surrounding area of South Wales. Let's have a look now, though, at today's route map as it crosses the border from England into Wales.
The final stage of this year's OVO Energy Tour of Britain starts in Worcester, and the first climb of the day is at the top of British Camp with a drop down to a sprint at Ledbury. Just after the Welsh border is the Cap to Ascension Crossway. The sprint at Usk is followed by the final Skoda King of the Mountains climb of Belmont Hill. The stage then heads into the Welsh capital for the first time ever for 3 circuit laps and the final iceberg sprint for the crowning of the champion by Cardiff Castle. Worcester is a cathedral and university city with a fascinating history of industry, located in the heart of the West Midlands on the banks of the River Severn. The Battle of Worcester was the last of the English Civil War, and the cathedral that dominates its skyline was depicted on the £20 note. Cardiff is of course the capital of Wales, and it hosts the Tour of Britain for the very first time. It was officially made capital in 1955 and now houses the Senedd building, the seat of the Welsh Assembly. Plus there is the castle, Cardiff Bay and the famous Arms Park.
That is quite enough from us. Let's get to the racing now with our commentary team of Brian Smith and Marty McDonald.
Thanks, Matt. 180.2 kilometres awaits the riders once they hit kilometre 0 today. And this is the neutralised start turf you need to cycling. This is a point sometimes we roll out of a town, have a neutralised section. And then once the car pulls away, the race will be on. It's still open in the Skoda King of the Mountains. We have 3 Category 2 climbs ahead of us on the course of today's stage. There's Lars Bohm in the centre in his green jersey, the OVO Energy Leaders jersey here in the Tour of Britain. And Lars Bohm, what a great performance he put in yesterday, and he takes that 8-second advantage over Stefan Kung into today's stage. The BMC man managing to take some bonus seconds yesterday. Do you think Katusha Alpecin potentially today might have another crack?
Well, looking at the way they've set up, it was nice yesterday to see Machado go on the attack, then Hollenstein. Christoph is in that Wiggle Points jersey, so he's looking to try and remain in that jersey. Looking at the way they've set out, they were trying something for the general classification, but every day they've been tending to look at a sprint victory for Christoph. Christoph has been Mr. Consistent, that's why he's got the points jersey on.
And we are away and racing here on the final stage. We go through kilometre 0. A lot of riders are looking around at each other. We're going to take a short break. Join us again soon. Laurens de Plus on the front, this gap coming back. Victor Campenaerts is on the front for Team Lotto Jumbo. And so this group, again, Brian, the breakaway established and gradually being reeled in here. And it's Lotto Jumbo that are on the front. Do you think maybe now we might see a shift from Lotto Jumbo, as sometimes they say the best form of defence is attack?
Well, over the last couple of days, Heath van Hoek and Roglic have been riding, and now Victor Campenaerts is coming to the front. They don't really want Laurens de Plus at the front here in the blue, and Sylvain Delia disappearing down the road. And the World Tour teams have come to the front now. This climb is 2.1 kilometres in length, 7%, so it's kind of hard enough. Kwiatkowski's there, and I think he might be thinking if Victor Campenaerts struggles a little bit to close this gap, he might jump across. Kirienko also up there in the right hand side, but the OVO Energy leader in the green is also attentive towards the front of the race.
Niels Pollitt as well, 16th overall at 54 seconds. So these 3 riders are all a danger. They pretty much sit together in the general classification of the race. So they're making it very, very hard from the start. They're on the climb of British camp. Niels Pollitt just lines it out for the corners here. Look at the crowds. Laurens de Plus through to the front. Dillier reacts behind. So Victor Campenaerts is the man that's being made to do the work on the front of the peloton. But Mikhail Kwiatkowski of Team Sky very, very vigilant to the front, as is the OVO Energy green jersey of Lars Bohm. Campenaerts just grinding it out on the front. Kwiatkowski looks good behind him. This is Lucas Alcyon moving up in the orange for CCC. And where is our King of the Mountains leader, Jacob Scott? He's got to be vigilant. Kwiatkowski now moves through. So the former world champion comes up towards the front. Stefan Kung, Victor Campenaerts and Lars Bohm. So this is exactly what we wanted today, a race for
that OVO Energy green jersey, and the big boys are out to play today. Here comes Gorka Itzagirre up towards the front for Movistar.
Well, he attacked in the final climb yesterday, attacking in the first climb of the day, but Victor Kampenaerts was struggling a little bit there, and that's why Kwiatkowski shut it down. But over the top of this climb, Gorka Itzagirre trying, Laurens de Plus again, Stefan Kung up there for BMC, Ben Herman swinging out to the left-hand side in the black, having a look at this one. So it's still all action at the front of the race.
Vasil Kirienka comes up with Davide Formolo in the lime green there of Cannondale Drapac. Herman's just trying to close this down. Laurens de Plus looking for maximum points over the top of this climb. And, plenty of points on offer at the summit, so Laurens de Plus leads Itzagirre over the top of that one. So two good riders there. We'll have a look down the peloton here and just see if we can see, but there's already some splits occurring in the centre of the peloton, and quite interesting, you can see the...
Kampenaerts there just going through, so a hard effort there, and he's now being distanced.
Mark McNally.
An interesting one, so... we just have to see where Graham Scaverius is going through. Christoph, so that was a very difficult ascent there. Maybe didn't look too much, but certainly split the peloton.
It has indeed. So we've got some big names that are already on the back foot here on stage 8 from Worcester to Cardiff. Mark McNally, we'll see where Graham Briggs is on that climb. So they're definitely making the opening kilometres hard here. No big breakaway established yet. There's Caleb Ewan just there on the Orica Scott rider.
Well, this is the back group now. Some splits you can just see further up the roads. Some large gaps now. So Caleb Ewan is get caught out at the back, and I think there'll be a general regroupment, but they've got a bit of a chase on their hands at the moment.
Great racing from the start here today out of Worcester. This 2017 edition of the OVO Energy Tour of Britain not over by any means in terms of the general classification. We have our intermediate sprints to come. 3, 2 and 1 seconds are on offer. Of those, 8 seconds is the gap between Lars Bohm of Lotto Jumbo and Stefan Kung, who's in this front group for Team BMC. Victor Kampenaerts went into the stage in 3rd place at 9 seconds. We've seen him in one of the groups a little bit further back, but we'll see if we get the groups coming back together. Vasil Kirienka going into today at 10 seconds, so we could have a battle for the intermediate seconds. But Edvald Boasson-Hagen we've seen in this group. Plenty of red jerseys, and again it's Denek Štibar through to the front for Quick Step Floors.
Yeah, just looking at the green jersey is there of the overall leader, but he's only got one rider with him, Primoz Roglic. Kwiatkowski just saying, why did you chase that down when you've got a rider in front of me from your own team, Machado? So Nils Pollitt shutting that one down. Castro Viejo's in there. Boasson-Hagen certainly is in there. So it's an interesting one because nobody wants to keep the tempo up. Good chance for a counter-attack as we look further down the road to see where the next group is.
Nils Pollitt attacks Jonathan Castroviejo. Lars Bohm on the front has a look round at his teammate Primoz Roglic. So just 2 riders here, so quite isolated are the Lotto Jumbo riders. Kirienka is in there. Here comes Daniel Martin back up to the front for Quick Step Floors. Viviani on the left.
He's made it into this group, so Viviani's shown some good form towards the back in the red. Also the man that went on the attack yesterday, Tony Martin. The other group coming back, but it's only a group about 10 or 12 riders, so we've got about 40 riders at the front of the race now.
And Kirienka, the real powerhouse from Belarus. And, can they manage to take this group clear? It's the sort of day that we've had so many big names on the attack. We had a great stage yesterday. Lars Bohm makes it in, Kwiatkowski. So a decent looking group behind there, just managing to split this one now. And here comes Stefan Kung. We're not far away now from the first intermediate sprint of the day. And here comes the BMC man out of the group. He managed to steal some seconds yesterday, did Stefan Kung. Lars Bohm said in his pre-race interview that he was faster in the sprints than the Swiss. But Stefan Kung, former world individual pursuit champion, he's got a turn of speed as Kung. 1 kilometre to go to the sprint. Kirienka's on the front. Here comes Lars Bohm. That OVO Energy green jersey, you can just see poking out underneath his team gilet. He needs to try and get up here. Kirienka and Kung, both dangerous riders, to try and take this first sprint. So great decision making from the organisation to put this bonus sprint very early in the day, because it's still all to play for.
Yeah, Kirienka at the front, he's up there in the general classification at 4th at 10 seconds. Stefan Kung doing what he did yesterday. He wants to take this one from the front, but he's got the race leader right on his wheel, and Bosenhagen also looking to get some seconds.
Yeah, descent here. Stefan Kung out of the corner. Lars Bohm gets into his slipstream. The overnight leader, he's been in the lead since the time trial. Kung is on the front. There's Bohm. Kirienka, Bosenhagen and Kwiatkowski. Now Bosenhagen makes his move. Mikhail Kwiatkowski is there. Bosenhagen and Kwiatkowski, both very, very fast finishers, but it's the Norwegian that takes it. Bosenhagen takes the sprint ahead of Kwiatkowski and Stefan Kung.
Yeah, Kung takes another second back, and quite noticeably the green jersey of Lars Bohm starting to grimace a little bit. He was up there in the sprint, he shut Stefan Kung down, but in the sprint he never had the legs.
So Lars Bohm, 8 seconds advantage he had over Stefan Kung going into today. Kung has now pulled back 1 second, so now sits 7 seconds behind. Really is all lighting up here on the final stage into Cardiff. We're going to take a short break. Join us again soon.
Welcome back. There was no let-up on the road after that sprint, with Thiago Machado launching an attack off the front, and he was joined by Jonas Koch of CCC Sprandi Polkowice. The World Tour teams then went to work to bring them back and to also maintain that advantage that was gained on the climb to British Camp. This lead group, containing all the GC contenders, was then joined by a group of about 10, led by Brenton Jones of JLT Condor. The second climb of the day at Crossway proved less exciting, with Laurent Deplouse and Philippe Gilbert of Quick-Step Floors attacking with Lukas Ausian of CCC. Although Deplouse crested first, there were useful points for Ausian in the Skoda King of the Mountains competition. As we rejoin the action, we're approaching the sprint at Usk and potential bonus seconds in the race for the lead.
And here goes a charge now from BMC, moving up on the outside. Here they go. Mikhail Kwiatkowski reacts on the left of your picture there for Team Sky. Bosenhagen is in there. 1 kilometre to go now to the sprint. Joey Roscoff is leading this one out. Dilia Hertz with Kung on the wheel, but here comes Mark McNally on the left in that red jersey as the leader in this competition. He really wants to make sure that he makes it his own today and no mistakes. Roscoff has a look back over his shoulder. Bosenhagen right up there. The riders just lining themselves up for the corners. Campenarts is there for Lotto Jumbo, so they're going to try and prevent the rider from BMC from taking maximum points here. A lot of checking around. Sylvain Dillier just looks back over his shoulder. Stefan Kung is up there. Lars Bohm is right on his wheel. We really have a battle for the bonus seconds here on the final day of the OVO Energy Tour of Britain. BMC leading this one out perfectly. Edvald Bosenhagen is poised and ready as they go over the bridge. Roscoff hands over to Dillier. They line up through these corners. The Swiss champion on the front, looking around just to see where his teammate is, and here he goes. Stefan Kung moves up towards the wheel of his teammate, but Bosenhagen now sees the line ahead of him. Lars Bohm is there. Mikhail Kwiatkowski trying to get on terms. Edvald Bosenhagen lining up the sprint. Bohm is there, so Bosenhagen from Bohm and Kwiatkowski is the order across the line. So good riding there from Lars Bohm in that OVO Energy green jersey. Stefan Kung, bit of a shake of the head there from Stefan Kung.
Yeah, it was a good lead out for him, but I don't think it was his type of sprint. A couple of corners in there, and he wasn't willing to take the chance here. Edvard Bosenhagen taking it from the front, and Lars Bohm just didn't have the legs to try and come round him, but takes the 2 seconds. Kwiatkowski taking 1 second, but head down for Stefan Kung. no seconds in this one, and Lars Boom now extends his lead in the green jersey competition by 2 points. So he now sits 9 seconds in front of Stefan Kung.
It's fascinating when we see this battle and how it can play out, but Katusha Alpecin come back through to the front just to get a little bit control over the front of the peloton. 2 sprints down, 1 more to come in Cardiff. This race is not over by any means. Now into the start of the King of the Mountains. The final Skoda King of the Mountains of this year's race. And Ethan Hayter just moves up on the left there for the Great Britain cycling team. Here comes Itzagirre on the left now for Movistar. Kwiatkowski up here for Team Sky. Gilbert moves through. So does Stybar. So Quick Step Floors, they're all up towards the front now. Gorka Itzagirre are Quick Step Floors going to try and split this race. They've got Fernando Gaviria in here, but perhaps they just fancy taking this down to a breakaway group. And Stybar, that's a big, thick blue rain jacket of Stybar. Alcyon from CCC just trying to battle hard to come over the top of Gilbert. They're looking around for Alcyon. He's on the wheel now of Laurence de Plus. Itzagirre is there. Here comes the orange now of CCC. Sprande Pulkovice. Can Lucas Alcyon take the Skoda King of the Mountains on the final one? This is his last ditch effort now to try and take this jersey. He's battled throughout this year's race to keep himself in contention in this competition. And Gorka Itzagirre has a look back now for Team Movistar. Denek Stybar is there. Laurence de Plus, a little gap now. It's Alcyon as he heads towards the summit. The man that's wearing the jersey is in the second bunch. Here comes the Polish rider now in the orange of CCC. Denek Stybar has a look at him. Denek Stybar wants to really put the hurt on now. Comes through to the front. Little group going clear as Davide Formolo, we see from Cannondale Drapac coming up. Alcyon is really having to work hard here to stay with in contention with Stybar. It looks like Stybar wants to really put the pressure on this one, perhaps, but Alcyon finds something now as they swing right at the top of the climb. And Stybar comes over the top and just manoeuvres Alcyon out there. We'll look for confirmation of that one, but it's the final Skoda King of the Mountains. So Alcyon takes 5 or 6 points. We'll just look for confirmation when we get that one.
Yeah, it looked close in the end, but I think Stybar done enough just to take the maximum points away from Alcyon. But the more important thing is, even if it was first or second was good enough. He only had to finish in the first 3 there. And to take the Skoda King of the Mountains, you just see Stybar coming up on the left-hand side of Alcyon. Alcyon thought he had the maximum points there, but he just squeezed past. Stybar takes it from Alcyon with Itzagirre and de Plus in 3rd and 4th place, and a tremendous amount of work over the whole of the OVA Energy Tour of Britain, and he just has to finish in Cardiff now.
It almost looked like Stybar there was looking to try and just go on a little bit more, but they were aware, I think, that that front group of Alcyon's place in the King of the Mountains competition. It's Stybar just goes over the top now. We'll see if this little group at the head of the race. We did see Davide Formolo of Cannondale Drapac in the distance on that climb. Will we have another breakaway attempt as we run down to the finish in Cardiff? So the finishing circuit to come, it lends itself perfectly to a sprint from this group. We enter the circuit with 21 kilometres to go. There's Lucas Alcyon, the new King of the Mountains leader on the road. So the King of the Mountains in this year's race will take that black and green Skoda jersey away from Jacob Scott. And from Onpost Chain Reaction missing out on this leading group. And it means that we get a change in that jersey on the final day. Back up to the front, your 2 leaders, Gorka Itzagirre and Denek Stybar.
Yeah, the trouble is now, Marty, that we did see an attack, and the question was if the group was going to be big enough, and I don't think 2 riders into a predominantly headwind Gorka Izagiri at the front for Movistar, and the rider in blue from Quick-Step Floors, Steve Barr. 2 riders are not going to hold off the peloton led by Team Sky. We do have a couple of more attacks trying to go across, but it needs to be a group about 5 or 6 riders to make it all the way, and I don't think even these 2 riders are strong enough. I don't think they're strong enough to hold off the peloton.
And here is our virtual general classification at this point. So Lars Bohm has extended his lead to 9 seconds over Stefan Kung. Victor Kampenaerts in there in 3rd. Kirienka in 4th at 12. Van Emden at 16. Bosenhagen now is at 16 seconds. So he's moved up to 6th. Mark Stewart here really got the pressure on, and you can see quite a few riders here just trying to stay in position behind the rider from Dundee. Great shot of the Principality Stadium in Arms Park, the National Stadium of Wales. And some riders down on the corner.
It's looked as if that was Quick-Step Floors there, so we just kind of have to wait and see. So already we're starting to see some crashes at the back. It's getting very nervous now.
And here's the riders just picking themselves up. And let's have a look at the corner. So on that corner there, just 2 riders going down.
Barbine and Laurens de Plus. So for the 2nd day in a row, Laurens de Plus has been on the deck in the last few kilometres.
It's been all about the bonus seconds in this race, and Stefan Kung moves up on the left there in the black and red of BMC. Hollenstein moves through. Kwiatkowski, Lars Bohm in that green jersey moves up onto the wheel of Kung. He knows that he's the man that he's just got to keep in his sights. Laser sharp precision and focus from Lars Bohm today. Edvald Bosenhagen is there as well. Kwiatkowski leading out for this sprint. Here goes Stefan Kung. Lars Bohm, little blowout there through the cheeks before Stefan Kung now sets up for the sprint. Bohm and Bosenhagen are there. Kung pushes them across towards the barriers. Has he got the power here in the sprint? It's Mikhail Kwiatkowski on the front. Kwiatkowski takes it from Bohm and Kung. But hats off to Stefan Kung, but it's the Polish rider, Mikhail Kwiatkowski, who takes the 3 seconds. Lars Bohm moves through. Andrea Pascalon in the blue and fluorescent yellow for Wanty Group Gobert. Ethan Hayter, the young British rider, is there. Here comes Joey Roscoff and James Shaw on the right of the peloton.
Yeah, leading the peloton, Mikhail Kwiatkowski, Geraint Thomas, Owen Doe, the 2 Welshmen in front of Viviani, but it's James Shaw decides to attack on the left-hand side.
James Shaw has a go, and he's chased. You can see that 3rd rider in line there is Ethan Hayter for Great Britain. Inside 5 kilometres to go. Kwiatkowski just neutralises that attack by James Shaw. They have 3 riders in front of Elia Viviani. And here is our virtual general classification at this point. So Lars Bohm has extended his lead through the sprints today. 10 seconds now over Stefan Kung. Kampenaerts at 13 and Bosenhagen up to 6th.
Yeah, Kirienka still in there, but I'm not too sure Kirienka is still in this leading group. So we have Sky in the right-hand side and Movistar on the left-hand side, setting up itself up nicely. Bosenhagen having to fight for all the position on his own, but moving up towards the front also, Ricchese and Gaviria in the dark blue.
Luca Mies gets the lead-out man for Caleb Ewan, a good sprinter in his own right, is Luca Mies gets. As Team Sky it is that have got control over the front of the peloton. The blue jerseys of Quick-Step Floors come up there. Ethan Hayter, the 18-year-old from the Great Britain team, looking to try and finish off his race with a dream finish today. He's a great track rider, is Ethan Hayter, European Omnium champion. So can he get up here and mix it with the big boys in the sprint?
Still Kwiatkowski at the front, Geraint Thomas, on Doe and Viviani. We see Philip Gilbert starting to come up with Ricchese and Gaviria.
Connor Swift now has a go for Madison Genesis. So again, another rider, domestic rider, very successful in the criteriums. And Connor Swift, when he took his victories in the Tour Series this year, he did it in some dreadful conditions. He can take these city street circuits in his stride, whatever the conditions they throw at him. So it's Connor Swift with Philippe Gilbert on the front, with Max Rackesi right behind him, and they're looking around for Gaviria.
Yeah, Gaviria's dropped back now. He did this the other day. He's dropped onto the wheel of Viviani.
Edvald Boasson-Hagen makes a last-ditch effort now to try and not only take the stage here in the OVO Energy Tour of Britain, he's trying to take this green jersey as well. 3 kilometres to go, and it's the Norwegian Edvald Boasson-Hagen, 3 times winner. He's looking to try and take. He's taken it on 2 previous occasions. He's battled hard in this race. And it's very tight still in the general classification. He's been picking off the seconds throughout the intermediate sprints.
Well, he's going to take the risks, Stybar at the front, and just look at the gap starting to open. Edvald Boasson-Hagen has decided to try and win this race by going for a long one. So it's Stybar looking behind Philippe Gilbert, and then we've got Rackesi, but Rackesi has lost his man. Gaviria has to move up here. But Meeskits is on the wheel of Rackesi, with Lars Boom really being attentive towards the front.
Again, Edvald Boasson-Hagen, the Norwegian. How many times have we seen him do this in his career? If anyone can make this move, it's the Norwegian from Dimension Data. The gap back to Denek Stybar. But again here, Brian, they're leading out. Gaviria is not on the wheel.
Yeah, just looking to see where Gaviria is. This is going to be a fairly messy sprint, but Edvald Boasson-Hagen taking some risks round these corners. He's not frightened to take the risks, and still Stybar trying to chase him down. He's got a very slender advantage coming into the technical part of this course.
And again, you can see here, Denek Stybar, very, very gifted rider. Technically, he's just gapping Philippe Gilbert through the corners. The former world cyclocross champion is just pushing his teammates behind him. But Edvald Boasson-Hagen, you can see, just trying to keep that bike a little bit upright into these corners. Remember the gap and those bonus seconds on the line. 10, 6 and 4. Boasson-Hagen for this sprint. There's the gap. He's still holding a good advantage as he looks for the Flamme Rouge across the road.
He's got one heavy right-hander to come, and then he'll start sweeping round to the left, and you'll see the last kilometre. It's still Quick Step Floors on the front. Big effort now from Edvald Boasson-Hagen if he wants to try and win this race.
Now we see the yellow and black jerseys of Lotto NL Jumbo. They cannot give Edvald Boasson-Hagen it any time as he takes this hot dog turn. Pushes it right over to the barriers, out of the saddle. One last big effort out here. This is what we wanted. It's coming right down to the final kilometre of this race. Boasson-Hagen still holding a good gap over the chasers with Stybar on the front.
So past the castle on the left-hand side, he's got a sweeping left-hand corner out. And he's going to come up to the 1 kilometre to go with a very, very slender advantage. Still Stybar in the front with the boys in blue just behind him.
Look at that gap between Edvald Boasson-Hagen. You can see the power of Boasson-Hagen out of the corners. The man, he's got no teammates in this group. He's had to manage all of the sprints himself. You can see the Norwegian flag on the cuffs of his jersey. He's the Norwegian time trial champion. 1 kilometre to go now for Boasson-Hagen. He goes through the Flamme Rouge. Can he hang on to the finish? The winner in Blythe, he was relegated in the sprint. He wants the stage victory. He wants those bonus seconds. And more importantly, he wants a hat-trick of victories in the OVO Energy Tour of Britain.
Yeah, into the headwind now. Very, very difficult now for Edvald Boasson-Hagen to hold off. But Gilbert has done his job. Now it's up to Team Sky with Owen Doull looking after Viviani. Can Edvald Boasson-Hagen hold on? He's just got a dog leg to come, and then he'll be within sight of the finish.
Quick Step Floors on the front, Team Sky. Great job today for Viviani. Christoph is there. Meeskits is there. Floris Hertz and Brenton Jones from JLT Condor, who's third yesterday. Boasson-Hagen now out of that final corner. Lined it up. Here comes Max Rackesi. Boasson-Hagen now lines up for the sprint. Here comes Max Rackesi. Can he steal this one from Boasson-Hagen? The Quick Step Floors man. He's a great finisher. Boasson-Hagen elbows outside.
sees the finish line ahead of him. Is he going to take the stage? Yes, he is. Boasson-Hagen takes the final stage ahead of Riccesi and Alexander Kristoff. And that chase in the finish there might just have saved it for Bohm.
We come round the final corner here, and Edvald Boasson-Hagen only had a matter of about 50 metres advantage. Riccesi comes round the corner with Owen Doull. I think by then it was Viviani, Kristoff there, but he just turns round and decides to go. Edvald was dying all the way to the line. Riccesi was coming very, very quickly, but just had enough energy, or had no energy to raise his hands in the air. He was just looking at time. But Riccesi was coming, but Edvald hangs on and gets a great win for Team Dimension Data. Riccesi gets second place, but Owen Doull trying to lead out Viviani. But by this time, Edvald had already got that win. The green jersey is there, so Edvald needed to win the stage and gap everybody else by 8 seconds to win overall, and I don't think that's the case, although he was probably closer up in the general classification. Now, courtesy of his 10-second bonus, but they might actually make a gap back from Riccesi to Kristoff, to the group just behind.
So Edvald Boasson-Hagen takes the win in Cardiff on stage 8 ahead of Max Riccesi of Quick-Step Floors and Alexander Kristoff, the European champion, in third. The champion in 2009 and 2015, Edvald Boasson-Hagen took his 8th career stage win in Cardiff.
Thank you. It was really nice to finish off with a stage win. I managed to get in the first group today, and it was cold and rainy the whole day, but I stayed far into the front, and before the stage as well, we was planning and I was thinking to try to attack, and there was a lot of corners, and it worked out really well in the way I did, and I'm really happy I could manage to take one victory in this.
And not only that, obviously the time bonuses, and you've got yourself right back up there on the podium as well. I think second place in general classification.
That's really good. I tried to take as many seconds as well, and during the stage, and then yeah, it's good I could move up some spots. That was nice, and it is a good finish then from off this race.
The final general classification looks like this. Lars Bohm of Lotto NL Jumbo takes the green jersey by just 8 seconds from Edvald Boasson-Hagen. The Dimension Data rider left to rue the 10 seconds he lost in Blythe. Stefan Kung did everything he could to grab some bonus sprint seconds, but had to settle for third in the end. So the Dutchman taking to the top of the podium for the second time in his career as the OVO Energy Tour of Britain winner for 2017. Alexander Kristoff deservedly won the Wiggle Points jersey after his consistency on the road all week. Sir Bradley Wiggins was on hand to award the Skoda King of the Mountains jersey to Lucas Ausian of CCC Sprandi Polkowice. Mark McNally of Wanty Group Gobert just took the Iceberg Sprints jersey ahead of Graham Briggs of JLT Condor. The loudest cheer of the day came for local hero Geraint Thomas, who won the Adnams Best Placed British Rider.
Really pleased to say that with me and Janto here is this year's winner, Lars Boom. Lars, hearty congratulations, but you had to fight hard to keep hold of that jersey.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, we have to fight really hard, especially yesterday, but I think mostly today, because yeah, they all wanted to get some seconds in the bonus sprints, and there were not always the perfect guys in the breakaway in the beginning, so the team did a great job to follow them and yeah, to keep me in a good position.
The race was blown to pieces today, but really you were up on GC because of that time trial in Clacton the other day when we last spoke. Was that one of the best time trials of your life?
Yeah, it was a really good time trial I think the best time trial in a few years. I think I had a really good feeling. I had a proper start, not too much, and then the finish was really good. So yeah, the basic of the basic, not yeah, it started all there this week, and that's really nice.
Lars, you did do a great time in the time trial, but also you had a really strong team. You had two other guys very high up on GC.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you were out of control or worried about losing that overall victory?
No, I never felt that I was out of control. Of course, with Kampenaars and Jos van Emden in second and fifth place or sixth, I think we were always in control. I think, and Then we had also some really strong guys with Primož Roglič and Gijs van Hoek who controlled every day. So only today, a little bit in the beginning, that was really hard for all of us, I think. And then in the end, after 30 kilometers, some small groups came back, and then we were still there with 4 guys in the group, so that was good.
Janto, thanks to you. Lars, thanks to you as well. Just before we go, are you familiar with the seminal work of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
No, I know the names, but I don't know the song.
You will now. Thanks for watching.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Yo, back up now and give a brother room. The fuse is lit and I'm about to go boom. Mercy, mercy, mercy me. My life is a cage, but on stage I'm free. Hold up, yo, let's get just one thing clear. There's only one reason why I came here. You women don't want me to tell you what's up. You women don't want me to tell you what's up. You women don't want me to tell you what's up. I came here tonight to hear the crowd go. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Tick, 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 boom. And like Jordan, yo, I'm scoring. Yeah, that's right, y'all, and I am in the flow. So pump up the volume along with the tempo. Many have died trying to stop my show. I came here tonight to hear the crowd go. Boom, shake, shake,